I'm Sarah Akiba, and you're listening to That's So Akiba podcast. You can subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and just, keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Are you ready?
No.
Okay, guys, so for this episode is really, really special, and I am going to introduce someone that has been really just a blessing in my life when I needed it most. And one of my dearest friends, and sure as hell we've had our ups and downs, but Stephanie Villegas, some of you who have known us, she was my partner in AWOM Lab when it was AWOM Lab, that's now The Spaces, and also my best friend. Like, honestly, just like I said, a big blessing, and someone who also taught me so much that inspired me on a lot of things. So Stephanie, welcome.
Wow. It's such an honor, first of all, to be here. I mean, when I got the invite, I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm not cool enough. It's so unique sometimes to be able to experience like friendship in just different levels and different seasons. And I feel like I've seen that.
Well, we've done it all.
Yeah. Like,
Every season,
I feel like a very prime time of our lives, you know? And it like so flourished to something that like we didn't even, well, at least I didn't even ever imagine. But before we get into all of that, it's just such a honor to see you like continue in the path that like you've always like deserved and worked your ass off for. And then just watching you here, like, what?
I know, like, you don't understand, guys, this space was our first office when we started working together. So I'm going to give like a little background, but so this used to be AWOM Lab. AWOM stemming from Angel Watching Over Me Foundation. And then I was like, let me create a co-working space. And Steph and her husband were my first like co-working space people who were like, I need an office and da-da-da-da. Like this space was like pink and not cute.
Yeah, you had just opened like cafe.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
And you were like, just come up and see this space upstairs.
And then you guys were like, I need an office. Like, can we work from here? And I'm like, are you kidding? Yeah. And I was styling though. I was never really here. You guys were here a lot.
You were styling.
Yeah. And
then wardrobe came back and you were like, do you want to do something with this? Like, I don't know. Then we started doing the renting of like
of the
pieces.
Space.
Yeah. Of the pieces and the space.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that.
And then we offered $50 headshots.
$50 headshots. Did we have customers?
Shout out to Natasha. That was our first photographer to say
Oh my God. You're right. What did we pay her? 25
what do you
bucks?
mean? That's how we started. That's how we
started the lab.
And people started to come. It was shortly after COVID. So we were promoting that.
No, during COVID. COVID was our prime time.
Yeah, you're right.
COVID was our prime time. This was before COVID.
And people started losing their jobs and we promoted it.
Yeah, 50
to,
bucks.
Redo your resume.
Redo your life. We're like, we were not afraid. We were also killing. No. To start. Yeah,
I was afraid.
Yeah, okay,
you're not afraid.
So to start, I'm like, damn, like we have this space and like we can make it so cool. Like if somebody was by my side, because I'd always like struggled with employees and them, hating me because I was tough and whatever. We'll go into that. And then like I was like, Steph, like what if you were my partner in this? And then Daniel, your husband, was like, that's such a good idea. Like you could really kill it, Steph.
Yeah, and we had just purchased a franchise. And he was like...
Was that Soccer Shots?
No, that was Engineering for Kids.
Engineering for Kids.
Yeah. That was our third franchise, but we wanted to do something different. And then I think I helped you in a women's dinner and you were like...
You're my person.
You need to like stay.
You need to help me.
Like, I've never seen you this happy. Just do it.
Just do it. And we were like... I was like, look, we should charge like $10,000 per production. And you were like... What the fuck? Like, are you crazy? Like $10,000? And we got it. You remember with who?
Yeah.
Ceci.
No. Oh my God.
It was our first job. It was the music video for Ceci. I was able to direct my first music video. Shout out to Frenchie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
and we did it. Like we produced a whole thing here.
From scratch.
Everything.
Yeah.
Do you remember that blue just crazy wardrobe? Yeah.
It was like from scratch, everything.
Yeah. And like
so cool.
Then we just started doing it like for brands and countless brands. The lab, the first what, 2 years, 3 years of it?
Already,
How many years did we work together? 3?
3.
3 years. Like, it was just brands. I mean, from jewelry brands.
It was 2 years that we were like, that's it, brands.
Yeah, that's it. And we were killing it. To think like, to go back and think like,
so killing
we
it.
were a company that was lucrative. Like, we were making money.
Yeah.
We were paying people not what they deserved at the time, but that's what we could afford.
Right.
And what I loved about you is like, you were all in. Like, we were happy with, we were getting paid $1,500 each. No, you were getting paid $1,500 and I was just like, I'm investing in this. And then we renovated. We were renovating to this.
She always believed in something always bigger, which is something I'm so inspired to this day. Because I would always say that I'm not a dreamer. I don't dream, or, you know, I don't have this big vision of something. I just work my butt off for what I think I can do right now, you know? But that's something you showed me because, you know, like vision boards.
Like we would get on calls. I remember this, and I'd be like, charge them $5,000. And you're like, no, Sarah, we can't do that. And I'm like, send the $5,000, Steph. And she's like, okay. And we would get the job. She'd be like, oh, we got it. Like, we would really celebrate our wins.
Also, like, showing up to productions, and I'm like, I mean, I'm a nervous person all around. And this girl taught me to have thick skin and just like, come on, like,
I was scared of you. You were tough.
We got it.
Yeah.
I was tough in certain things because I was very particular of like, no, we need to have everything A through Z. You're the type that A through Z doesn't have to be A through Z. It can be A, F, G, H. We're going to get shit done. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
And that's where I'm like, oh, crap. Like, I'm freaking the F out.
You know, I kind of lost that now. Because now everyone talks about like systems, building systems. That's how it really grows and flourishes. And I'm like, I am not a system.
Yeah, that's cool too. But I think certain leaders that are in specific roles, like, you thrive because of that. Because I consider myself I think I can operate in a large capacity. But the moment you start throwing things at me randomly, and that's not what Monday was supposed to look like. Like, I start panicking where you would like be like, all right, let's go. Like, I got this. Like, we'll figure it out.
That's
you know
why
what I mean?
Worked though.
And
that's
why you are in the position that you are because of that. It's just real.
But
you know
I
what
needed someone like you. Even till this day, I always say it. I'm like, God, if I had a Stephanie. Because where I would be. But it's true because you were operations. And I know I had like, you know, now and after talking to Lex right before this, I'm like, I was a tough boss. Never with you. Yeah, I never got tough with you. I respected you too much.
Yeah.
And also the fact that like, you knew how to lead. I didn't have to teach you that. You already knew that, you know?
Yeah, I also feel the respect came more from like an emotional attachment in a very short. I feel like now that we're on the other side, right?
Yeah.
I can see where like, yeah, you're tough. You're a person that you're not easy to work with, but I mean,
I feel like for reason now.
Think of everybody that's in big positions or very well respected or whatnot. Like, not for anything. Like, you've worked your butt off. Like, if you like, even listening to the podcast of Margie and Shahar, like, it's like, bro, this girl was selling her stuff to go to trips.
Literally,
like, come on, like, that's a different perspective of life, a different lens that you're living through that I'm not gonna comprehend.
But you know what's even cooler is like the people we used to talk about that worked for me before. Yeah, they all went off to be successful, and that's kind of a testament to, if anything, I was on your path for a reason.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I don't think there's no one that can say, oh, working for Sarah, I mean, not for anything, you were the stepping stool for a lot of people. At least the people that were in our lives while I was present.
What was the hardest thing, like, working together, would you say, for you?
Oh my gosh.
Even though we had so much fun, we laughed a lot.
I will say, you and I worked very well together.
Yes, we did.
I think our struggles would come like when we had to work
personal.
Yeah, like from a work perspective, it was when we had to work with other people.
Yeah.
You know?
But I recall one specific time that, and this is to say that you should always have your team's back, and even like in a relationship, like even if your husband is wrong, I was telling Adam this yesterday, like, you in front of people, you say your person is right.
Yeah.
You can go home and tell them their flaw, but I wouldn't do that in front of people, you know? And like, same with my team. I don't know if you remember this, but we were working with one of our customers and whatever. And I won't say who, but they tried to like talk down to you guys to me. Do you remember this?
If you keep going. Yes.
Wow. And wow. This is someone who went to church. This is someone who, you know, I respected in the business industry, and she was a fine customer. Right? We had our, you know, little whatevers, but it was fine. Could deal with it. The second she called me to talk bad about my team, I know my team. I knew my team. I knew what kind of people they were. I knew how hard Steph worked at stuff. Are we perfect? Never. Do we write perfect emails? Never. Do we? Never. No one does. I don't care what company you're in. You know what I mean? But I knew that the important stuff was there. So the second the customer told me that, I mean, when I tell you, it wasn't one of my finest moments. Yeah. But I went off on her.
Yeah, that was.
And I was like, you know what?
That was a very
loyalty,
proud moment for us.
For you and Lisa.
Yeah, for me and Lisa. Know? Yeah, that was like a moment that we were like, because you know it's hard. You're in a tough position too, because at the end of the day,
it's someone I knew.
Exactly. The people aren't coming. Not for me and Lisa. I mean, you know, we had friends and things like that, but
you did.
It's the reality. The reality is that a lot of
I was the sales. She was the operations.
Yes.
I could get anyone. Like I told you know, like I could, like people were like, I think I need a production for $1,500. It would quickly jump to like 8,000. I was like, no, but you need a videographer with this, and then it's got to look like this, and then we got to do the production. And they'd be like, oh, I guess
make it happen.
Hell yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, there's not one thing that we can say that.
Yeah. And then people would be like, oh, they did it. You know? Yeah.
So cool.
So freaking cool.
Such a cool season.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then life happened.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Somebody got the tissues now. So we worked together, and it was beautiful, and it was amazing. We had hiccups before, but never like this one. And it was a quick turmoil.
It was quick.
It was just, there was no conversation really. I was in a really toxic relationship, which I talk about all the time. And I guess we all didn't know how to like navigate it. I wasn't me anymore. Yeah. I felt like I was beside myself.
Yeah.
I thought this was my guy. I thought, you know, like he was this hot French guy, and I'm like, oh my God, this was, and we all thought, we're all like, oh my God,
even
Sarah
the way
found her.
Meet him, everything.
Yeah. And then it quickly shifted from how like just toxic that relationship was, that, you know, you surround yourself with someone, you become that person, you know, and then, but I knew it wasn't for me. So I had gotten pregnant, and Stephanie was struggling to get pregnant.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah. So,
because this is this is you.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of like throughout the years that we worked together, again, like on a personal level, we're both kind of going through a lot too. Like, you know,
first
relationship. You with relationships, you know, me going through IVF.
Conceive,
So
God,
a lot.
How we would deal with that.
Yeah, like a lot of emotions, you know, a lot of mind change, I think, for me as a human being, as a woman, like just trying to navigate life with the thought of not potentially like getting pregnant, you know? And it's like, things were going great here, and wow,
you were trying for years.
Yeah, for 6
years,
4 rounds of IVF, and
I remember how hard those moments were when you were like taking the test, and I'm okay, today's test day, like we knew, you know, and you were not getting the answer you wanted, but something you always went back to, which is why I look up to you the most. The most as your friend, why I look up to you is your belief in God.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh, I get emotional because like even as a Jew in office, they were always playing ministry music or, you know, Christian music. And I was just like, praise the Lord. Like, and she'd be like, I love the Holocaust. Like she didn't know the difference of like, you know what I mean? It was so funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, and what's crazy is that I love the Jewish community. And,
so much.
Judaism, everything.
You wanted to know everything.
Because since first grade, I used to have a Holocaust survivor come speak at my school.
And it was so...
In Liberty City.
And it was such a thing for you, though.
Yeah,
like,
and my
it stuck
teacher
with you
was
so much.
was Jewish, and so imagine from 1st grade to 5th grade, like she'd do this for us. And so when it wasn't common to meet Jewish people.
Yeah.
In Little Haiti, you know?
Yeah.
So we moved to Kendall. Nobody's Jewish. No one was Jewish. And then I meet you. It's like, oh my God. One of my first words was like, I love the Holocaust. And she's like, no, you don't. But I get what you're trying to say.
So funny.
Wow, our faith. Yeah. And you know what's so cool? That there was so many hard times that from relationship, from day-to-day operations, emotions, everything, that you taught us so much to like, hey, like, let's journal.
God, I was at my prime.
Let's sit down and talk about how was your weekend? Like, you started becoming like, wow.
Okay, so there is something that I must talk about. Not because I am the founder and owner of the business, but because it has been the most precious gem of a place where you get to create what you want. Bring your vision to life. Bookthespaces.com is where you can come in. You can literally find the space where you want to bring your vision to life, whether that's a production, whether it's for your brand, a photo shoot, editorial, music video, a podcast, an event. We literally can curate it for you, or you just choose to come in, rent the space, book now, and you can create whatever magic you choose to. The Spaces is really a series of spaces that I've created and designed in the most minimal way so that we can create whatever vision it is. Let's say it's a Valentine's Day shoot and you want it to be full of red and love. The space is so minimal and perfect, you can do it however you choose to do it. You can make your vision board and bring it to life here. We have 4 different spaces now. We have the extension, which is all white and gorgeous. Then we have the lab, which is how it all started. The lab is more rustic, more New York vibe. And then we have the podcast room, which is super new, where you get to produce your own podcast, or we can produce it for you. And then we have the ground, which is our newest space. It is, I'm so excited. It's 2,800 square feet. You can fit 150 to 200 people in there. You can host your workout there. There's enough mirrors for you to do so. So if you're a wellness instructor, you can totally do that, or host your own event there. It is a lot warmer than the other spaces and just perfect. So you can go ahead and book the spaces on bookthespaces.com or follow on @bookthespaces.
If I can like take it a little bit back to your podcast with Shahar and Margie, they said something that like I was like, yes, like that's, and it was like there's a time for friendship that sometimes it's not like there's a season for it, specific seasons for certain friendship or whatever. And where there's childhood friends, right? And things are gonna happen, or new ones that come in or whatnot. And then they were saying how, you were hustling. Yeah. So Margie's like, with her husband, and then Shahar, I don't know, traveling somewhere else. Like, so everyone was like doing their thing. And I feel that I come into your life where, if you really think about it, Sarah, you didn't have personal life.
I didn't.
Like,
for many years. Yeah, many years.
At all. So. Wow,
I forget that.
Yeah. And it's like, I listened to that podcast and like, it hit me because I was like, wow, like, while I was here, like getting upset at her and this and that, like you were going through, I don't know, such a like you leaned so much on me, like as a friend.
I did.
And like, I didn't know what you were truly like. And listen, like you had to be tunnel vision. Like you've built everything that you've had on your own. Like, of course, family support, of course, but like not financially, it's like, hustled. That's a pressure. That's a pressure, that no one can understand until you're wearing those shoes, And so, I don't know. I felt like I never knew that. Like I thought about it as I was listening to that podcast and I was like, wow, Sarah wouldn't go out with friends.
Ever.
Sarah was married to her job.
Yeah.
So Monday through Friday, we're like, okay, like, do we have to talk about this? Like, it's like,
it's crazy.
I
just found in you, like, peace, but also a big sister. I don't know if you ever
weirdly.
saw it like that, but like,
no, yeah.
because I looked up to you in the way that you were married to Daniel. So like, okay, your faith, the way you took care of your husband and your home, which I did very much so too. Like I taught you also little home stuff and how to do things at home and like whatever. But the way your relationship and the foundation of everything for you, I feel is very foundational.
So and it's because you've had it. And I think at that time you were missing it. So it's like you leaned on that because like I'm telling you, everything clicked to me. And
Shit,
I was
that's
like,
such a crazy thing to think about. Like wow.
Yeah, so you were like wanting what you would see me, and it's like I'm here just trying to style myself good enough to be next to you, you know? And
but isn't that crazy what an impact, or did you even know what an impact you had on me at that time?
I think we're very vocal of our love for each other.
Yeah.
And our families, like, I mean, wow. We intervened in each other's lives very quickly and drastically. Like we were, you know.
We were family.
I mean, everything. You know. I probably never really had a moment to like ever. I mean, we after our fallout, back to that. Yeah. It was sad because it happened so quick and
okay, so let's go into that. We're working together, everything's fine. She went through IVF and she calls me one night.
It's my last round.
It's her last round. She calls me one night and I'm on FaceTime with my brother John. I don't know if you remember that. And you call me and you go, Sarah. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm pregnant. And with Daniel, and I'm like, what? I start bugging out. Little do you know that the day before I had found out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I go, Steph, I'm pregnant too. And she's like, what? Like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? And at first we're so happy. We're like, gosh. Oh my God, like we're gonna have our baby soon. Like we started bugging out, you know? Mind you, my man was not living here. He was living in France and I was alone in my home and we're with my brother on FaceTime celebrating each other, and then I don't know, we're fine, but like I think the weeks, day after,
the days started to happen, and then
what? I don't know when it happened, but
and
like
then you go through.
I remember sitting outside here, like I was sitting on the stairs, and I remember calling you, and I'm like, Steph, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean? A week later. Yeah, and I'm like, you're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I can't do this. It's not for me. I'm not okay. Like I can't have this baby. It's not for me. And you're like, Sarah, yes, you can. You can do anything. Like you were trying to just remind me, like, it's okay. There's hormones involved.
Yeah.
Like you were just trying to like be that. And I was like, okay, like we'll see, you know? But in my head, I had made up my mind. I was like, I got to get an abortion. Like this man is not for me. I'm not ready to give my child the world that this child will deserve.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that I would be a woman that would get beat up mentally and physically if I stayed in that relationship. Wow. I knew. You didn't really think anything of it until I went through the abortion.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened throughout that period. I don't know. Like, were you in Colombia still?
No. I was back.
Here. You weren't coming into office, though.
No, because I was on bed rest.
Correct. Okay.
And you go through with it, and that day...
No one asked how I was doing.
No one asked how you were doing.
Yeah. And that's where, for me, I was like... I remember being home. I was alone.
Yeah.
My mom had taken me. She dropped me off back home. And I was alone, and no one called. You know?
Yeah. No, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And I texted you, and I said...
You haven't
texted me like how I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I wrote back.
You didn't answer.
I didn't write back.
No, you didn't answer.
I didn't answer till like 8 p.m. Because I remember Daniel gets home and I'm like, oh, Sarah went through with everything and I'm just having a really hard time.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy because, you know, I I can say, and this is just me speaking from the heart, I saw moments of you where you would change your mind and then you'd go after the things that you maybe said you didn't want to do, and then you would do it, and then you would thrive, and then like, oh my gosh. And this was
I would
one of
change
them.
my mind a lot. You're right. Yeah.
But I think it makes sense. It makes sense when someone's wanting and searching for something, right? But I'm not going to comprehend that. I'm just going to see it like, oh, she can do it. You know, I thought about your family. I'm like, she's fine. She'll get help.
Right.
Like, we're here. Like, we're going to have kids together. Like, it's going to be okay. It wasn't because I got pregnant and I was struggling. And no, it wasn't that. It was because Sarah spoiled me of thinking like she can figure this out yet again. But it was something that truly, through the grace of God, you got that feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think it was religion?
No.
Do you think no?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I genuinely felt like you weren't thinking things through. That was just, but I'm not in the relationship.
You were
I'm
disappointed. Like, what was your feeling that you were
disappointment.
like?
Disappointment because I felt that you could
do it.
You know? And
so it was more that big sister
to say that. Like,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I remember crying to Daniel and it's like, you know, John can help her. I know everything's going to be fine. Like, her mom is incredible. Like,
yeah.
You know.
We didn't even have that conversation.
We never had that conversation.
So it
literally the next day, no, couple days pass and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm having a hard time with this. Da, 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 da. And then you get really mad at me. And then we don't talk for like a day.
Because in my head, I'm thinking,
I'm selfish.
Like, I needed someone and you were my person at that time. And I thought if I could have anyone, it would be you. You know what I mean? And I think it was easier to just say bye than to have that conversation because it was so deep. Like, it was so hurtful for both of us, I think.
And you have a strong personality too. So I feel like.
I don't have that anymore. You know that?
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I really don't. I just now, like how you said,
You're
like,
laughing.
no, yeah. Kayree's like this. I don't think, not like before, like the way I used to talk to my employees, the way I used to be a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I don't have that anymore. I don't talk to people like that.
Now that I'm,
I don't talk to people like that. I think I listen more and I have more grace. And I also think like, I don't know what tomorrow is now. So I lean in on that.
But you know why? Because I can even sense your peace. Like, I feel it. I see it.
Why do you think?
One, God's put you in a position right now that of you living out everything you've prayed for. And I can see it. I mean, even as silly as like the way you kiss Adam. I love it.
You love him. Everyone loves Adam.
You know, I think, Sarah, hello, you have a heart of... But, hey, there's people out there that... I mean, our parents are mean to us. Like, I'm a mom now, and I have to be so mean and so assertive and so this. My daughter probably feels at the moment that I'm not understanding her in this, but it's her job, right? Sometimes to, like, be that. And I feel like you are that in your work. Like you know what you want, you know, like, you know, so, but everyone knows that at the end of the day, Sarah has the big heart, everything, you know, and I just feel like I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that like no season has changed you, who you are, or like has messed up like your focus of where you're going, of what you want. You've stayed close to God now more than ever.
I have to go back though because it's worth the celebration. Steph struggled so much. I get so emotional. Like, she had a daughter. Like, after so long of like me being here with you. Like, we went through a lot. Like, your ex had passed away and you found out in this room. Do you remember that? And you were not conceiving. And like, you know, like little things, but your relationship was so on key. Like, you and Daniel's foundation was like, I would look at you guys and be like, God, one day give me that. You know?
Oh my God.
and he has, you know, which is even cooler.
Exactly.
Like that you can, which is a testament that you can have what you want. And even if it takes you getting an abortion because you're with the wrong man, you know?
It's okay. Like, I feel like we got to do a better job at like understanding people while they go through things, even if you want to give your opinion as friends. I feel like I wish I would have done that for you. I wish I would have just sat there with you and been like, are you sure you want to do this? And hold your hand and just like, but you know, we're humans and we make
and it happened
hard decisions, you know, and
we stopped talking for 2 years. No, a year and a half, 2 years.
Like a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Like
and one day I get my eyebrows done.
Oh my
and
God.
And Mary.
Oh my God.
Our eyebrow lady at G Beauty. Shout out to G Beauty. Shout out to Mary. Says, you know, I know you don't talk to her, but I'm just going to tell you something. Don't tell her I told you. I said, okay. I can't keep my mouth shut for anything. So now you guys know. Don't tell me secrets. And she says, you know, Steph came and she talked about you. I said, really? And I was just waiting for something like that. She goes, yeah, like she would love to talk to you again. I go, really? And she goes, yeah. I go, I'm leaving here. I'm calling her. I left. I got in the car and I said, you know what? This was when I learned forgiveness. This day. I was like, life is too short. No ego. Just call. And I called and she didn't answer. And then you called me back. Yeah, or did you answer?
No, I picked up.
Oh, you picked up and you're like, hello?
Yeah, I was like I was freaking out.
Freaking out. And I just called and I'm so glad I
that
called.
Just comes to show you that no matter how much faith, how much you read the Bible, how much whatever you guys, you know, the Judaism world does or on a daily basis to be a better person, you're going to fail. I failed. Yeah. Like, I know better than to have an ego. I know better than not to like, hey, like,
but there's
forgiveness,
forgiveness,
right? I didn't practice that, like, at that time, for whatever reason, right?
You were shocked that I called.
Oh, I was super shocked.
You were shocked that I called. But you know what? We met up, and it was like nothing had ever changed, for me at least. And I was just like, God, I miss her. Like, I love her, her energy, her everything, her beautiful skin, I saw you like that. Like, I always saw you like that, you know? And I just feel so lucky to have you back in my life. And like, you know, I tell Adam all the time, I'm like, getting married to him is something so exciting for me, but not having you and Daniel there would have been, I would have missed that.
Yeah, you know? We had something special, especially you and Daniel.
Yes.
I feel like
Daniel was
like, even with you, we would get in a fight with Daniel. I would get in a fight with Daniel because he'd always have your back. And I'd be like,
love him.
You're not even here to hear the tone. Yeah. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, but Sarah, but you guys are very similar people, you know?
Thanks for forgiving me.
No, thank you for forgiving me. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And thank you for making me better and for showing me that we never stop growing and we never stop maturing.
Yeah. And that it's not always a failed friendship. You can always come back, you know?
Yeah.
Depends what you do, but most of the time. Yeah.
But no, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for opening the doors that you did in the years that, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I've always wanted to say, I don't think you know, like, how much I grew as a person, like, within those 3 years and everything opportunity you gave me. Like, I'm talking just for myself, not even from a financial standpoint. Like, just like, I look back to who I was and I was like, wow, that was so fucking cool.
Yes.
And it's because who you're with every day, you know, like inspired to get dressed, inspired to like throw on anything, like step in the room, like.
But you did the same for
everything.
Me. You
know what I mean?
Always put together. You were
like,
everything. We were a reflection of each other. It's, you are who you surround yourself with.
It's crazy. It's
for
wild.
Sure. Like we would buy the same bags because we're like, oh, perfect office bag, and like
insane.
It was so. I miss that.
Yeah.
You want to come back to the spaces? We need someone. There's always a home for you here.
I'm so blessed to have strong people like you to teach us to be better in life. I think everybody needs that.
I feel the same with you.
We can't get comfortable, you know?
Yes.
So I'm so happy for what you're doing in your life. I'm excited to celebrate you, to honor you in front of Jesus and God.
Amen. Amen.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
My friend G.
Oh, And that's a wrap, everybody. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I'm so happy to have you guys here. And just these conversations just keep getting better and better. And I just get to share with you guys the people that I love the most. And my collection of people, it's big, but it's so beautiful.